What's happening? How to buy a homies? All right, today we have an incredible interview, jam-packed with so many amazing stories. I'm so excited. This one is epic, and you're going to get tons of real-world tips from a recent first-time home buyer. I guarantee you're going to feel more confident in the path of homeownership after you listen to this. Now, if you've been noticing lately, we've been dropping a lot of replays and a ton of different interview episodes here in 2025. And that's on purpose because it's such a wacky time in real estate right now that we've got a lot of the basics in the old podcast catalog. And the listeners have told me that they actually learn a lot about the current home buying situations from the interviews. So we're ramping these up so that you guys can have tons of current practical tips and tricks that you can use from all the interview episodes. As hopefully you know by now, this podcast is dedicated to helping educate and empower first-time home buyers. And with 335 episodes, everything's there for you. So here, let me help you out. If you're overwhelmed by the process and you're brand new and you need to just start at the beginning with a step-by-step, what do I do, dude? Even if you're 1 or 2 years away, I get it. I've got you. It's right here. Because unfortunately, when you're researching on the internet, there's not a lot of information out there. So you're here, you've come to the right place. So newbies, start at the 10 basic steps every first-time home buyer has to know. That's starting at episode 301. 10 steps, you'll get practical, actionable steps and feel like you're actually doing something instead of just researching. Now, once you've done that, here's your tip on the rest of the podcast. Whether you're brand new or you've been researching for a while and you're looking for some deep details, the tip is do not listen to the podcast chronologically or in order. Your binging should be your own personal research journey by scrolling through and looking at all the titles. Now, if you want, there's an entire series of episodes that breaks down all of the real estate terms and definitions so you can understand the language from A to Z. That starts at episode 94. And if that doesn't get you what you need, and you're doing research out there and you find these other topics you don't quite understand, you'd like it explained to you plainly and clearly, all you got to do is scroll through the podcast titles. Everything you need is there. Look for the topics where you'd like to be more informed, and you can go ahead and take your deep dive. There's information if you're a brand new researcher, as well as those of you who've already spent hours going down the first-time homebuyer rabbit holes on the interwebs. And of course, if you've got a specific question, just go to the website and hit Ask David, and I'll be able to help you find the information that you're looking for. And I always like to recommend, there are interviews all the way back to 2019, so scroll through and listen through the interviews. There is nothing like hearing a story straight from the source. And you can learn from people who bought in 22 and 23, but these current episodes, the interviews we've had in 2023 and 2024, they're amazing. And strap in, folks, because this is an absolutely killer interview with Jessica. She drops so many knowledge nuggets that you better make sure you have some space in your brain for everything that you're about to get right now. Let's go.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
Well, homies, another exciting interview coming your way today. I'm so stoked about this one. I'm going to be talking to Jessica, who has been in her home for a little while. We'll be trying to get together, and I'm so excited about this. So we'll start right away like we always do. Jessica, you closed, when was it? August.
In August. Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're a new homeowner now. So if you can think back to those crazy days in the summer of 2024, what was the biggest tip, the biggest takeaway that you discovered throughout your home buying process?
Embrace the chaos and expect the unexpected, and just plan for things not to go exactly how you pictured in your head.
Was there anything that you and your partner Mike did that helped you with that flexibility and adaptation?
I was really meticulous with my documents. No matter how good your team is, there's always going to be, I need this document or I need that document, and you may have sent it already. So I just kept myself organized. I kept a list. I numbered it. I kept a folder just for all of my housing documents. And I kept checking in, do you have what you need? I sent this in. Did you get it? No, okay, I'll resend it. And I had everything numerical, like a table of contents almost for my folders. I had created a little spreadsheet. Okay, number one is my IDs, number two is the tax information. Um, so just do your best to kind of keep everything all together. And then, things happen, it gets passed through different hands. So sometimes they need something again or something updated. Um, so that helped me a lot to do that.
Now I can read through the lines there because I've been doing this for 20 years now. Was a lot of that happening through the underwriting process as you went further and further in the loan, where the
Yes.
loan was asked? Yeah.
Oh, yes. And it was stressful because we were on a time crunch. So sometimes it was like we were doing things almost by the skin of our teeth because a document was going to expire or wouldn't be any good anymore after the next week, and you had to close on this day. And it was like that for the whole ride for us. Especially like with student loans and being military. You have to have all the right documents in place. They're more meticulous too when you're going. We did a VA loan, so they're more meticulous about everything being done a certain way, being done correctly. Yeah.
One of the most frustrating things, tip to all the homies out there about purchasing a home, is there are people that will not start the process until there is a contract in place.
Hmm.
Your 401k, your
Hmm.
investments.
Hmm.
If anything is attached to the home process, and the military one is insane.
Yes.
And so you have a 30-day window and you contact them and they're used to doing everything in 21 to 30 days. And you're
Right.
like, sweet, my lender needs this in 10.
Right.
Talk to us about that. Before we turned on the microphone, we were talking a little bit about being a military family.
Hmm.
You were mentioning some of the things about a VA loan. Tell us, if for our military people, what some of the people still think about military loans and the myths that are out there, which we can get over, but just to help prepare everybody.
Sure. So, one of the challenges that we faced when we were making offers, just before we were even under contract, is if we didn't have a down payment or a high enough down payment, they wouldn't consider us. Because our belief is that they don't understand how VA loans work. So even though we would make a reasonable offer on a house, they wouldn't understand why we weren't putting in 3% or 10% down. The way that we were able to finesse it was we did put a down payment of sorts to just show that we were serious about it. But I think that the misconception really was challenging because I don't think that sellers are as well informed as they could be on the VA loan process. And when you do a VA loan, it's backed by the VA, so it's you have more credibility. You have to go the extra mile to get approved for it and qualify and have a lot of your ducks in a row in order to be able to use that type of loan. It's a privilege to be able to use it. So it would be nice if more people understood more or less the process and the credibility of it so that they know that the person who's making an offer is just as serious as somebody who has maybe a higher down payment. So in addition to being a military family, I'm self-employed. So there was a lot of obstacles because we had to find. Luckily, we found our unicorn team, thanks to David. But we didn't have luck at the beginning because we didn't have the right team helping us before we were under contract. So I think having someone on our side guiding us before we found the home that we really wanted, was a key for us personally. That's what helped us get into place, know exactly what we needed to do to get there, to be prepared. And that took a couple of months for us to do that.
This is the mission of the podcast. It's not to sell you a webinar. It's not to get you to buy my first time home buyer course. It's straight up so you can hear exactly what Jessica said, which is if you start with some teams, they're going to be so focused on let's get you purchasing a home. What you said, the things that made it possible for you were the things you did before you were out when the right team was giving you the guidance.
Right.
I'm going to give just a quick little summary for people about VA loans. If you go all the way back to the beginning, it's somewhere in the 30s, like my first year of the podcast. I interviewed Christopher Griffith, who's a great VA advocate. They're amazing loans. And everybody who doesn't get it, they're going to be out of real estate pretty soon. But there are some old myths, and I'm talking about like 1990s myths. But that's incredible. I'm so excited for that you found the team that helped you out. So let's dig into that. What were some of the differences? What were some of the planning stuff that helped you so that when you finally did go through this process to be in your lovely home that you're in right now, what was some of the planning stuff earlier that helped you get ready to get out and start writing offers that were going to get some real attention?
Before we found our unicorn, who really, so we started with Anne, who was our the unicorn that that
My
you
Long Island
connected us
queen.
with. Yeah, she was amazing. She's amazing. She's like really, she's awesome, and we were so grateful for her. She's like we feel like she's family to us now. We've been through so much together. But
Okay,
we
now I had a big twist here, and I interrupted you.
that's okay.
So so yes, financially wonderful. This is a big house. $640,000. This is a big deal. Tell us the story about Anne.
Yeah.
What did you guys do last fall?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, she was kind enough. We don't have family here, and she was kind enough to invite us to Thanksgiving dinner, and she hosted it at her house. And so my husband Mike and my daughter Sophia and I all went and had a nice Thanksgiving dinner with her family. It was the first time, I think, in like 4 years that we had. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect to be emotional about it. But I do feel emotional. It was the first time we had Thanksgiving with like a family that wasn't just us. That was really nice.
As a person who has been involved and had many friends who are military, then those of you who aren't military, there's a reason why it had been 4 years, and there's a reason why this is emotional. What makes me so excited about this is that there are a ton of great people in every industry who have big hearts and will do something to help or befriend their clients. The really bitchin' thing about the unicorn is that she also happens to be a badass real estate agent.
Yeah.
So
She's just such a good person.
Yeah.
She just is a kind and caring person first, and then she's a realtor second. So that was really obvious to me meeting her. You just feel that energy, and she's just very genuine. We actually, if I can just give you like a quick side story, we had in the beginning made an offer, and they accepted it, and we even did like the inspection, and we paid for the inspection, and we were so stoked because it was exciting, like we were like crying because we were so excited. And then they ghosted us and turned around and decided not to move forward with the contract, and we were devastated. But what like touched me was that she also was devastated for us. Like she took that personally. Like she carried that with her. She carried it with us. She carried that devastation with us. And at the end of the day, okay, it's just a house, but it was just like we felt like our dreams were crushed, and she was just quick to like, okay, let's go. We're gonna keep going. You're gonna find it. Like, she was just very empathetic, but very like just didn't let us give up. Like she's like, we're not giving up. She was just a really great support through it. And I think that's one of the big differences because a lot of times I did try to work with other people before I met Anne, and it was like, well, let me know when you're ready. It's like, I'm ready now. What do I got to do? Let's go. So, you know,
I think it's a big difference. It's let me know when you're ready.
yeah,
I didn't say I want to go out this weekend and buy a home. I said
yeah,
I'm ready to plan right
yeah,
now,
right,
and then I will buy a home with you. That is
exactly.
that's the giant hole in the real estate industry, and the fact that uh, Anne and the unicorns are these people that are vetted so intensely. Empathy is seriously on my mission board.
Yes. Yes,
And
the whole team was like that. It was really incredible that they just pulled together for us. The attorney, the loan officer, and a realtor. I just did not expect all of them to be that way. And that's why they work so well.
it's funny because Anne and a couple of the other unicorns, when we get together, we kind of laugh because it's like nobody knows we're like nice badasses. Like
I love
there's
it.
like it's true because but that's where the experience takes over.
Yes.
An experienced agent, a new agent, which most first time homebuyers get sent to,
Hmm.
they're overwhelmed because they've never seen somebody get their dreams crushed before. But
Right.
we've been doing it and we understand. And
Yeah.
there was an interview somewhere back in the 180s where one of it was a single. No, I don't think she was single. It doesn't matter. She said something awesome one time. She's like, yeah, I figured out that the realtor's in the middle and everyone else gets their bread buttered by the realtor. So that attorney, that lender, and all those people that you worked with,
Hmm.
they recognize Anne's awesomeness. And
Yes.
so then you get this full team support. That's
Yes.
amazing.
It was very cohesive. It was really nice when you're lucky enough to find just people that click like that and work together and work with you and fight for you. It was like it was magic because it went from I'm not getting anywhere at all to oh, we're moving. Let's go. Like, hold on. It was amazing.
Well,
It
no
really
wonder you put
was.
your list together. Because
I made sure I'm doing my part. Like,
well, you didn't realize that was gonna that could ever be the
right.
next step for you. And then with
Yes,
them, you're like, oh crap, I got to get my stuff together.
exactly, exactly.
Wow. Okay. Give us other parts of the home buying process.
After we made for what we purchased our home, it was an estate sale. So the siblings were selling their mother's home. And we actually were lucky enough to find it in an area that we really desired that we didn't think we would get because it's like very rare to find. You basically have to inherit a home in this neighborhood, from what I heard. So we were just lucky that we found it. And when we made our offer, we did our inspection, we were like just holding our breath because we were burned before. So we were trying not to get our hopes up even when they did approve it. Like it did accept the offer, I mean. Um and they just went full speed ahead. It took us, I believe, I think it took us 2 months. That was our turnaround. It was 2 months because there were so many moving parts. We both have student loans, like most millennials do. Unfortunately, we do. So we had to, like show, okay, this is what this is. We have childcare. We have to show how much we have to pay for childcare. I didn't even, that's a thing for VA loans. You have to show how much you pay for childcare, and that's like something that they look at and that can like work for you or against you. Typically, they count it as an expense. Um, you know, They look at everything, your car loans, like money coming in and out. They're looking at every little thing, like, oh, why did you get paid this much this month? Like, because I worked more. Because I tried to buy a house. So it was crazy. I don't know. I honestly don't know how we did it, but we did it. And it was just like that. It was all these like surprises. Like we had after they did the survey where they kind of tell us where our boundary lines and everything is, they're like, oh, by the way, it's encroaching on this side by 9 feet from the neighbor was encroaching on us, and they're out of town, and we gotta send the letter to the attorney. And by the way, your student loan letter is gonna expire. It's not gonna be any good past this date, and we gotta close on this day. And it was crazy. Like we did everything. It was wild at the finish line. I was sweating. It's like, oh my god. Oh, and then at the end they're like, and now the down payment's going to be this, or now the closing costs, not the down payment. The closing costs are going to be this. We're like, oh my gosh. But then we wrapped it up and we signed, and it was like a whirlwind, and we had the keys in our hand before knew it, and it was amazing. So, I mean, it was just one thing after the other as far as like documents. I think I have 30 like files that they needed, roughly, of like just paperwork of things that they have to process and look at. I mean, I know it's a lot, but you think like you make an offer. A lot of people may have this idea that you make an offer and they accept and they're like, okay, thanks, here's the money, you get the keys the next week. And it's like, no, this can take a month or two, or in some people's cases 3 months, so it's just, have that expectation that it can take a while, especially when you have moving parts like we did. And being, if you're self-employed, that's another one. You want to have a good team ahead of time, especially if you're planning something. Like if you think you're going to buy a house in a year or two, or maybe in your next duty station, the time to plan for it was yesterday, like, but or to prepare. But you want to like really understand what they're looking for when you're trying to qualify ahead of time. So you understand that you get the right support, maybe right from the right tax professional to guide you, as well as a good team, if you can, like a lender, loan officer, who understands how things work, so that you are making sure that things are done properly. So you're not getting stuck with any snags.
I've talked about this before on the podcast. I would love for another explanation of that. Explain why, especially military, if you're a year or two out for your next duty station, why do you want to talk as a self-employed person to a tax professional and a mortgage lender 2 years ahead of time?
When you are doing self-employment, they're looking at your last 2 tax years. So it doesn't matter. Like if we're looking at, you're trying to buy a house today, they're going to look at your tax returns of 2024 and 2023, the last 2 years, and you have to show that you made the income. And when you're self-employed, whether you are a sole proprietor or an LLC or an S corp, well, I mean, at least, for a small businesses, I'm just like a one woman show, so it's just me. Like, you have to be able to demonstrate, like, yes, I did earn this. And it's unfortunate that even though you worked for it and you paid things with your own money to work, it can count against you. So I spent like an astronomical amount of money on, I'm an OT, I work with kids, I have to buy my own assessment tools, and they're there can be as costly as $1,000. I had to buy one for $800, and continuing education is costly, and your licenses that you have to get in the state, and it's upkeep to be able to do your own business. So there you have to make sure you're balancing it correctly so that you can still validate that, yes, I am making this much and I can afford to buy a home, and you have to prove it. So if you don't have the right person guiding you through it, it can set you back.
So if you're not self-employed, I'll give a quick summary on that. A lot of people who are self-employed don't show enough income for the last 2 years because they not only write off their expenses, legitimate expenses like Jessica's talking about, but they'll write off other stuff that's kind of gray area.
Yeah.
A lot of self-employed people do that so that they can have more cash to put into the business.
Right.
What you just said, Jessica, is something that is high-level economics that I will talk with people about sometimes, where it's like, you love your job. You're going to stay self-employed. I know you could be writing another $10,000 off this year, but we sat down 6 months ago and we figured out with the amount of salary that you make, you can buy X amount of house.
Right.
We can increase your salary. You are completely within your legal specifics to be able to write that stuff off. But if the house is your goal right now, you can increase your salary this year. You can give yourself a pay raise.
Exactly.
And then that's amazing.
Yeah, the ball's in your court. So make sure that you are playing it on your own team when you're trying to buy a house. So, but we didn't know any better. We didn't know, you don't know what you don't know, right? So we had to get professional help. Like I was doing my own thing for a while, like doing my own taxes, and I don't know. I just do the software program. So it's good to have a professional, like a CPA, or I think the other acronym is EA, to help you. And sometimes like the loan officer might know somebody like that they think is reputable. So that's good to know too, like to speak with them ahead of time, because they know exactly what you need to qualify. So you don't have to, sacrifice as much as you think sometimes. So it's good to be able to get in touch.
Way too many people wait. 72% of the people for the 6 years I've been doing the podcast say they're 12 to 18 months out. And then they reach out to me and they buy a home in 3.2 months and close in 4.3. So a lot of people do this planning on their own, but what I know about that statistic is that they worked for 3 years where they could have worked for 1 if they're with a team. You brought up the right point. Getting that lender ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because you don't just go to a CPA, because the CPA might go, well, if you want to buy a house, they know some about that, but you need to have them both together looking at your taxes, because the lender knows I need a tax return that looks like this for the banks that are going to lend you money.
Exactly. I think it's best before you make any big moves, speak to the right lender that's going to help guide you to qualify, because you might be paying something down that you don't need to pay down, or, it's just better to communicate first and have a goal and a plan, because you don't know if what you're doing is going to set you back, or if it was, you sacrificed this and you didn't need to sacrifice that at that time, like, your time and your money to pay, let me pay off this credit card, and you may not need to do that at all. It might not have had a huge impact on what you qualify for. So I think it's really important to do that. And I think that really helped us set us up for success when we did get in touch with the right person.
It's not black and white. And I applaud and appreciate the people who are feeling like they're being responsible. I'm going to pay down all my debt, and then I'm going to get my 10% down payment.
Right.
Maybe you don't have to pay down all your debt. And when you do the big math, you realize that while you're working all that time to pay down your debt, home prices are increasing.
Yes.
And mathematically, it doesn't make any sense. This is, Jessica, do you want a job? Like, you should be my spokesperson. You're like repeating
Sometimes
everything I've been saying for
sometimes
6
I am.
years.
It did help listening to you first. So maybe I'm just it's a mantra now. Just,
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
like it.
know.
There is so much that if you're just listening to, that
Hmm.
kind of subconsciously comes back in your brain. And then you got this incredible unicorn team that was able to help you through. I mean, this is complex stuff. You're you're having to train other people on the fact that a VA loan is actually a more secure and a better loan. You're having to look at your entire finances and put it all together.
Hmm.
Plus, I mean, you're looking at, what's going on for you and Mike and Sophia. Like, how long are you guys going to be in this particular house?
Well, we're hoping that this will be our final stop because we love it so much here.
Yeah.
So this might be a forever home or at least a home that we want to stay in. Of for the foreseeable future, we would like, for our daughter to go to school here. The schools are very nice. It feels like home to us. Even though our family is far from us, we feel like we can um build, connect and have, make this ours. And there's a sense of community and there's more opportunities to connect with neighbors. um we really like it. So I think after some time, this is where we're gonna stay for a bit. At least that's the idea for now. um I think that even if you're like a military family who isn't planning to stay here in the long run, it's an investment, and I think that homes are a really good investment in my opinion. Not that I'm an expert, but I think they are. And it's really nice to be able to have a home near like a base or a duty station, and you then have the opportunity to possibly rent it out to other military families that are passing through that don't want to buy a home in this place. So either way, if you choose to stay or not, you are in the military community, and it's different. You help other military families, like if you are going to move on to the next.
Are you familiar with, I know you had to go through all that paperwork, the VA. Are you familiar with your VA entitlement?
Yeah, somewhat. I believe you get like a percentage so I think you can use up a certain percentage or points or something like that. I did understand it, but it's been a little bit since I looked at it at some point.
So your VA entitlement, basically, you have X amount of dollars that you can use based on formulas
Hmm.
to use your VA loan to buy a home.
Right,
If you don't use it all, you can buy your next home with another VA loan, which has incredible advantages. No PMI.
right,
So most first-time home buyers do not use their entire entitlement for their VA because they're not going out and buying $1 million home. So
right.
for your little course, which
Hmm.
is crazy, because I told you earlier, but I'm going to do a big 5-episode series on military people, but you just gave the first class. Um, you can go ahead and figure out the process. And then once you've gone through all this stuff that you just learned right now,
Hmm.
buy your first house. And if you have to move in 2 years, start renting it out and
Yes,
go and buy at your next duty station. And then what? You're 24, 25 years old. You've got 2 houses
exactly.
and you know how the process works and you've got a renter there. It's such an incredible, there's such a high level benefit because our military people get this wonderful loan option.
Exactly. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you don't have to be active duty to utilize it once you are. I think after
Correct.
you pass, I think after you've been in the military just once, I think after 6 months you are considered a vet.
Yep.
Um, so you can utilize that benefit, for your whole life. So
My
it's
dad was
nice.
reserves for 30 years and I helped him buy 2 houses in his retirement.
That's
all
wonderful.
using the VA loan.
It's awesome. It's really a very nice benefit. And I think that we really, really needed it to be able to do it because it's so hard to be able to establish yourself when you are being moved around. So it's harder to save as much as maybe other families or to have your, all these ducks in a row to be able to do that. Um, it's costly to start all over again. That's something that they don't tell you is that to start fresh, to get a new job, it takes a while to start working again. If you can find a job where you are, um, you know, a lot of times depending on the state and depending on like how much the serving spouse is making, like you might need adult income to be able to buy a house, and it could take a little time to get there, and time is money. So if you are waiting to find a job, to build up to that, and then be able to save, that takes time. You want to enroll your kid in a new daycare, you have to pay the fees, the enrollment fees every time. Or I mean, I guess you do that every year, but still, there's all these expenses, and it's
Yeah.
and it's hard. So those are things that it's should be considered, and it takes you sacrifice, you do have a lot of benefits, but you are sacrificing that comfort and the privilege to have the same support as if you were at home. I don't have grandma down the street like, hey, can you watch the kid a second? Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to a job interview, or I gotta go to work and I need a babysitter. So especially with little ones, we have a 2-year-old, so that was tough. Buying a
It's,
house with a baby was tough, but we did it.
I know people that do it, and I give them extra kudos, but it is an interesting thing that, in a situation like where you're self-employed, people have to do the math. Well, does the employment do enough to cover the daycare? And so you have all these new factors to think about when you go in there.
Right.
You, you had talked about the fact that this might be your, it feels good and you love it and would like to turn this into the forever home.
Yeah.
You talked about this one was an area you thought you couldn't get into. Do
Yeah.
you, do you feel like the estate sale, the trust sale, the probate was the reason that this neighborhood that you thought was unattainable became attainable?
It could be a factor. So, the person who passed that lived here, she was 95 and she was living alone. So, we got the ugliest house in the nicest neighborhood, we feel. And I say that endearingly. She just needs some love and some updates.
You got the
But
grandma house.
we did. We got grandma's house. Quite literally, her grandkids used to call her Mimi, and we call it Mimi's house.
Oh,
It was really cute. So it was turnkey, but not to our taste. We need to update some things. Like, we want to update the kitchen and the bathrooms. The bathrooms are one solid color of blue and pink. Like, we have the 70s vinyl wood, and the kitchen. We still have the original stove from the house when it was built. I think it was built, I want to say it was in 1964. So we have an old, I think, General Electric stove from 1964, and it works, and so we use it
yeah,
for
because
that.
it's made of solid steel.
Yes. Yeah. So, but it's ours, like we finally, what was for me, like one of the best feelings was I really like to garden, and it was nice to put something in the ground that I get to watch grow, and I don't have to be like, oh well, I put this in the ground and I'll enjoy it for a year or two and then leave. So you get to physically plant seeds in your garden and enjoy like the fruits of your labor, literally, and it's nice. It's
Did you walk into your home shopping process, like there are people that come to me and say, I'm totally good with a fixer. Did you say, if we can get these type of neighborhoods, we're willing to compromise the upgrades on the home? Or was
Mhm.
that something that sort of evolved throughout the process?
No, I definitely had that mindset that I was willing to have a fixer upper in an area that made me happy to be in, that I felt comfortable and happy. So it was, I think that there's what's that old saying, like location, 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 right? So that's really important. So we're in a good location where it's a safe place, but also it's a nice community. And that was like a really, our neighbors, for example, upon moving in, like the same weekend like that we moved in, introduced themselves, brought us a bottle of champagne. The other neighbor cut flowers from her garden and like made us a bouquet. Like it was just really nice and welcoming, gave us a card welcoming us. Like we felt welcomed and it was nice. There's a mix of people who are retired, young families. Like we've started meeting like the other young families now that the winter's passed and we're into spring, so we're starting to see more people out again. So it's nice. Things as simple as like we went trick or treating in our neighborhood, and it was really nice. Like to take our kid around, you know, put her in her little Tinkerbell costume and trick or treat and talk to the
Oh,
neighbors, and it was so nice. It was really cool. So I did feel like that to me was more important than maybe a house that was more polished. Um, and I also had the mentality that even if the house is more put together with more updated renovations, a lot of times it's done in the taste of the person doing the renovation. So, which is fine, but you might settle for it, which is no problem, or you might be happy with it. That's cool. But the way I personally think is I rather do the renovation in my style and not feel bad about, oh, they just did this though. They just did the kitchen a year ago or 2 years ago. I guess we'll leave it another 10 years. I'm like, no, this is fresh. Like we get to start from scratch almost. Not 100%, but yes, a lot of the stuff that we're gonna put into it is gonna be in our taste and we get to live in it for a long time. So it feels good.
it's a great way to look at things. It's a fantastic perspective. I think I always tell people, I get it if you're not handy, or I get it if you don't want to spend any money. But instead of looking at something that isn't upgraded as a ton of work, look at it as a blank canvas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has
I mean, the whole
potential.
goal is we're trying to build your home, right?
Exactly. I think if you don't have the ability to envision it like up here, the technology is so amazing. You can literally download an app, an AI app, and take a picture of the room and put your aesthetic or your style, and it'll give you ideas of how to decorate that room. If you really like a house or you like the structure but you're not sure, you could put something like that on a
Wait,
phone app and envision it.
do you know what app that is?
There are a couple of them. I think the one that I'm talking about, I'm gonna just look on my phone real quick so I can tell
Okay.
you. It's called Home AI. I think it's like free for a couple days and then you pay for it. And there's a ton of them available, but that's just one of them. And they
Well, this is great.
scan
I'll
the
call my
room.
unicorns,
Yeah,
and
let them know.
I'll get client feedback from all over the country.
Yes, I think sometimes they do that too. Like when they're trying to sell a home, some of the sellers will use that app to kind of stage it so that you can see the potential of the space. So that's a new creative thing that I started to see when we were trying to buy. But it can work in your benefit too because it can help you envision the space and to your liking, and you can kind of like, okay, I can see this. I can see if I paint here and I change the floors there, and when I put my couch here, and so I think that's helpful to kind of really like get a good feel for how it's gonna be when if you do buy that house.
I tell people all the time, when you walk in, of the home. I mean, doing this for as many years as I have, I've been keeping up with the technology. It's difficult because as a listing agent, when you're trying to sell a home, like in California, we have really strict laws. We can't doctor any images. It's not allowed
Oh,
because
okay.
people were like painting the grass green
Oh,
for
yeah.
this home, and then you pull up and it's like brown as dirt, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
So,
Yes. We
so
saw a lot of
there,
that in our we're
yeah,
shopping. A lot of the house was bright green in the middle of winter. We were like, I don't
yeah.
know. I don't
So, so
know.
they really cracked down in California on the fraudulent stuff. But my
Okay.
old trick was I for 20 years I've been walking in with buyers, and as soon as they get in, if they don't like the decor, I just say squint, and
Yes.
we would squint, and it just makes you look at the layout and
Yes.
not the terrible wallpaper. Um,
Yes. Yeah, the wallpaper can be distracting. Don't The wallpaper can come off. Don't worry about
but it's
it.
hard. It mesmerizes you like those paintings that used to,
Mhm.
you're just supposed to stare at.
Yeah, it just like keeps you trapped. Yes, but I helped a lot. My husband too. Like sometimes he would feel like a place was so dated, and I go, I know it's great. There's so much to it. So I always liked the homes that were a little older personally. So I think it was nice. I just there's charm and there's opportunity. I'm like looking around my den thinking about it. And it's nice. It's just nice to see your home come together little by little. And like, yeah, you don't have to keep the awkwardly shaped coffee table if you don't want to, or they're probably going to take it with them if they move. Like, you don't have to keep anything the way it is. You get to change it. But I think if you look at the bones of the house, are the bones good? Is the house a good, is it a good structure? Is it, what, and everything almost every time that's like something else you should expect. You should expect that you're going to have to fix something as soon as you get the house. So,
Yes.
unless it's brand new construction, and even then, you might have to fix something as soon as you buy it. So, it was like little things that are just like surprises that I expected because I, took the time to research and like talk to a lot of people. So I expected surprises, but you don't know what they're going to be. So we had surprises like everyone else. Especially when you buy an old house, like we had to do the septic tank. We were like, that's not exciting, but we had
Yeah,
to do
that's not
it.
HGTV.
No,
Ooh, I'm gonna
yeah,
expand this space and make it
yeah,
gorgeous. That's HGTV. The
exactly.
reality is,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah,
septic tank.
yeah. Like, oh, we gotta our toilet isn't flushing as nicely as it should, and I don't think it should smell like that. So we had to figure that out. It was, it was little projects like that. We did well. This was a fun one. So our whole floor was like this white carpet that's been there for a long time, and but underneath we had hardwood floor. So it was really cool to like tear up the carpet and redo the hardwood floors to our liking. So it was the color that we wanted, and it went with our. We already had a couch that went with our couch, and like things like that. So that was really nice. So that was a big project that we had to do, but it was again to our liking in our style. And when it was done, it was like, wow, this is our house. This is cool. This is like, wow, look at our floors. I'm from Miami originally, so we
Yeah.
had tile. So like
Yep.
like living in New York, to see hardwood floor to me is like, wow, that's cool. So I was
It,
just
isn't it
fascinated.
like it's different. It has like a
Mhm.
cozy, like
Yes.
warm.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
It's
exactly what you're talking about.
cozy.
Here.
We have a fireplace, and I like mind
Oh,
blown. And it needs to be updated in a lot of ways, but we got to use it when it was cold out. And we have these like IKEA lounge chairs that they left for us. We're like, great. And we sit in front of our little fireplace, and like we love it. They're reading our little book at night with their little fire going. And it's just like I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like it's just for me, it was so worth it. I'm like, I you don't know like some the features your house is going to have, but there's like things that you just appreciate, that they're like these little small things that come together, that just like, oh, this is my home. I get to read in front of my fireplace in my home. That's really cool.
And the change that I don't think people understand is life changes.
Hmm.
Like you were talking about Halloween.
Right.
And, I'll be dealing with single people and young people, and they don't even think about that, because to them, Halloween is I'm getting in an Uber and going to a party, and we're
Or
going to have,
yeah,
and that's great. But if the plan is to stay there for 10 years and the plan is to have a family,
exactly.
seriously, I tell people home shop on Halloween night. It's an awesome time to find out what neighborhoods are super fun, you
That's
know?
so true. That's true. And maybe you don't want it to be that exciting in your neighborhood, so that's good to know. Is this
Exactly.
gonna be
That's why I tell people,
is this a crazy street, or is this the quiet street?
yeah. So I tell
So
people drive it on Friday and Saturday nights. You got to make sure, and
you got to
but
go to all the funny times, right? Like all the
yeah,
odd times to see what's the traffic like, if you
yeah.
really love it. Like you're so right, David, about what you're saying.
After a long time of doing this, and having this wonderful feedback, like some of the big takeaways I take from this conversation with you is, uh, you were told there were going to be surprises, and so you did a lot of preparation, and there were still surprises. You know,
We're extra surprises. Yes.
but because you weren't doing this by yourself,
Right.
because you had this wonderful trusted team,
Exactly.
you know, I don't I don't say this because I want people not to prepare. Like, if I say no matter how much you prepare, something's going to happen. That's not your excuse to do nothing. You
Yeah.
really should, because it'll be easier. But that combination of pre-planning plus preparation
Yeah.
plus a quality team with you, that's
Yes.
incredible.
It's going to help you navigate those surprises a lot better than if you were just doing it on your own. And you know, it does make a huge difference once you have that team put together. It's night and day. It, you just like, it's like a light in the dark out of nowhere. You just all of a sudden you have a lantern and you've been walking around with like a match. So it's really and then I research, so I do a lot of research, and that's how I came across your podcast, because I was determined to figure it out. And I went all the way back to like listen to you, and like that, and like just researching myself and putting things out. And this was before I had my team, and I was hesitant. I'm like, oh, David's not gonna reach out to me. But you did, and it was cool. I was like, oh wow, he really did. He really did, and that was cool. And then I met Anne, and it just took off from there. It was pretty cool.
I've been trying to figure out ways to say this for years, because that is going to make that you just gave me my juice for a week. Like that's all to hear someone like you who searches found this and it was the solution. But
Yes.
oh my God, I'm gonna do like a million TikToks and Instagrams that
Good.
be saying that I turn your match into a lantern.
Yeah, you
I love it.
did. You did. You did. It was really awesome. And then what we really appreciated is that you did actually check in on us. So it was
Oh yeah,
nice. And I know, and like Anne communicated too, like, oh, I got David reached out to me, like, that was really nice too. So I'm like, oh wow, like I don't feel like another number. I feel like, oh, I'm being seen as like a person trying to like buy a home, and it's such an important milestone in your life. It's really hard to get to. And it's like, wow, I don't feel alone anymore. I feel like, wow, I'm supported. That was really nice.
that is exactly what we try to do. And part of the reason why I started the podcast, there's all the love, the empathy, the care, the feeling like they're disrespected. But there was a little bit, and maybe more than a little bit, that I was pissed off, because the fact that you even have to say when I talked to someone, it was so refreshing not to feel like I was a number. That
Yeah.
means there's something wrong with the industry.
Oh, yes. I was so quickly dismissed. It was like, come back to me when you have a W-2 job, pretty much. And I'm like, I'm not going to get a W-2 job. I worked really hard to do my own thing. I was told by a lender, like, if you go and get a
Whoa!
W-2 job and you make this much, I can qualify you. And I said, um, okay, but I'm not going to get a W-2 job. So what should I do? And I was just left in the dark. I worked really hard to be self-employed, like to do my own thing. I don't want to go now and work for someone else. And also, that's not easy. Like, especially like you ask any mil spouse, any military spouse to just go out and get a job as a military spouse is an obstacle. And it's, they're not supposed to hold it against you, but they do. So, because they're like, oh, well, you're not gonna stick around, so why should I waste my time on you or train you as opposed to someone else? Even if you're extremely qualified for the job or you're really good at what you do, they don't see like the beauty in the maybe the quality of work you can provide because you might have like all kinds of experience because you've lived in other places, right? People can
Yeah.
be, people can be short-sighted. That's neither here nor there. It's the point is that the lender told me, well, if you want to buy a house, you're gonna have to give up on your dreams and go work for someone else and support their dreams. Maybe that's fine. That's fine too. But I'm just saying, for me, it wasn't gonna happen. So there was like a moment in time where I was considering it. Do I really have to put like what I've been working towards and what I've been working on for so long to get here just to be able to buy a house, and that was really sad to me. And then what do you say to an employer if you're like, you get a W-2 job, buy a house and then leave? That's not right either. So, it felt bad. It felt bad and for so many reasons. So it was such a big game changer when we did have the right people say, oh, okay, you're self-employed. This is what we got to do. This is the game
Yeah.
plan. This is how we get there. It's not, this is not a black and white situation. This is going to take, a lot of, like I keep saying it, there's a lot of moving parts. So you're going to have to take these steps. And this is how you can prepare for this. As opposed to, well, this is easy for me. No, they don't want to do it because there's it's not as easy as like say a W-2, or
Yeah.
and when I say W-2 I mean that you're an employee of somebody, in case because I know I'm using that terminology. It's just the form you fill out, so that's why I say it that way. But when you file your tax forms, but basically to be an employee rather than self-employed was the difference. And yeah, that to me was like heartbreaking to think like, am I not going to be able to get a house because I don't work for someone else? And that didn't seem fair to me. And like I feel like, like it felt like they were like knocking down the little guy. I was like, really? Like
They absolutely were.
so I gotta work for like a corporation to to have the right to like buy my own house? Like that's wild.
What they're doing is they're looking for the easiest path for them to make their monthly payments for their bills. And
Yeah.
the easiest path is, and so by only choosing to work with what they call A paper borrowers,
Hmm.
um, they're just trying to take all the easy ones, and they are playing the numbers game. They're going to take 20 phone calls a day and they're going to take the 5 easiest deals.
Right.
And when you build your business on relationships and your business grows because the clients are so happy with what you did, then that's where you're going to put some more effort into it.
Yes.
Um, and, and on a completely pessimistic side, that lender just sucked and didn't know. But then
Yeah.
it all goes back to empathy. Can you
Yes.
buy a house? Yes, you can. Should you? And that's
Yes.
when we have to get into the why. Why are you doing this?
Right.
Okay, cool. This job means a lot to you.
Right.
So I'm going to dig deep and find the ways that you can get approved for a loan so that you can be happy. People
Exactly.
don't realize every single step of the home buying process, there are those little compromises. You
Right.
know, you guys love this neighborhood, but you can't afford the one that's perfectly upgraded in your tastes.
Right.
So you got Mimi's house.
Me too.
But even deeper than that is from the very beginning. Well, wait a minute. We've got 10 or 12 different loan things that we could do. So when you reach out to someone, you don't want them to just go red light, green light.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to
Right.
go, well, first of all, you don't want them to go away, come back when you have more money or
That
a better
was
job.
right,
That's the
right. Come
work.
back when you're
You
gonna
want them
make
to
me some
go,
more money and not make me work so hard for it. Isn't it
yeah.
like I
It
I
sucks to pull back the curtain sometimes and reveal that
yeah,
this is the way the real estate industry works, but
right.
that's why I did this. And kudos to you for having the perseverance to not let that guy push you down. And then that dug you into the place where you found the podcast and
Yes. Yes. I
got to
think
meet a unicorn.
I did. I think that the most important thing to do is in this case, we don't take no for an answer. We find a way because you can, like, there's a way, where there's a will, there's a way. So you have to keep finding, keep knocking on all the right door, keep knocking on the doors until the right one opens for you, I think. So, like, don't just let one person's opinion or their lack of, I don't know, just the way they work maybe isn't for you, right? So, where they're lacking isn't your fault. You just got to find the person that is going to support you or the team that's going to support you through it. So in that regard, I think like you shouldn't give up even if you are getting turned away because maybe things aren't perfect, because what you should have is like somebody saying, "You're not there yet. Let me help you get
Yes.
there." Not, "You're not there. Bye bye." To me when you are, you know.
You're not there yet. You're not there. Bye bye.
Yes, like, let me help you get there, as opposed to, well, you're not there. you know?
When I first started in real estate, there was a coaching program that really stuck in my brain as part of the reason why I'm working this revolution so hard. They put their clients in A, B, C categories. 30 days or sooner when they want to close on a home, that's an A buyer. A B buyer is 60 to 90 days. And
Mhm.
past 90 days is C, as in see you later.
Yeah,
That blew my mind
yeah,
because look at the raving fan that you are now of everything that and you went down deep. You're like the lender, the lawyer, the title, like
yes.
because everybody brought you this A plus blue ribbon wonderful customer experience.
They did. They all did. And they, like, even after, like, they check in on us, like, how's your house? Like, how much, like, are you guys happy? Are you settled in? You know, they genuinely care, even though their job is done. That's it.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they're they're good to go, you know. And even when we had that situation where our offer was accepted and then, you know, they did what they did, it was really not nice. Like, they all did come together, especially Anne, but they did all come together and they did support us through it, like, and they said, we're gonna get through it, you know, we got your back, this is how we're gonna move going forward, this is our game like, it wasn't, we didn't take it lying down, so, because we had somebody holding us up, we had our team holding us up, we're like, nope, we're not gonna just lay down and crawl under a rock. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna help you. Let's go. So it was nice.
I love it. Through thick and thin.
It really
Uh,
was. Yes.
Jessica, I'm glad that we were your lantern, gave you more light than your match before. Thank you so much for being here today. This was an absolute joy.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for allowing me to share our story. And we really appreciate everything you've done for us, everything Anne did, our team. So I'm happy to share. And I really hope that, other families, people who want to buy a home listen like I did, and maybe they hear this and there's something that resonates that gives them that spark to do it or to jump for it and give them confidence. So my will is to help by sharing, you know.
You're an inspiration, paying it forward. Thanks, Jessica.
My pleasure.
That was great. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a long one, but I know there's so much great information in there from Jessica. Great stories as well. We're going to keep these coming all year long so you get these practical tips of what first-time homebuyers are doing right now. If you need more information, go ahead and scroll through the podcast. Or, of course, you can always go to howtobuyahome.com and just ask me yourself. There's a button right there. You can ask David, or you can just ask me for a unicorn. If this has been helpful for you, please share this podcast with other people. I'm starting a revolution to take care of the little guy. So share this with all your renting friends. And if you got a minute, write a review. It's always helpful on Apple or Spotify. Thanks, gang. Keep listening, keep researching, and most of all, get started because you can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyahome.com to get started.